my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more times.
5 blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
This is KUGAN, CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Okay, I'm joined by promoter Ben Shalom. Ben, it's been a bit of a whirlwind 24 hours here. First of all, we want to send our deepest condolences to the royal family for the passing away of Queen Elizabeth II yesterday, which I'm sure you'll join me in kind of addressing that situation first.
Yeah, it's a tough time for everyone. I think the magnitude of what has happened hit everyone yesterday. It sort of sent everything into a different sphere, and we're working through things that we never worked before. But first and foremost, that's where our respects are. That's where our minds are right now, and you can feel that the whole country is grieving. And because of that, you know, certain things come first. And yeah, it's been a difficult 24 hours for everyone. But it is what it is, isn't it? And some things are more important than sport, business, anything.
Let's kind of backtrack to yesterday, because obviously the news that filtered through everywhere that the Queen wasn't well. We kind of were learning updates as the hours were passing. So from the moment kind of we learnt that news, was there kind of talks or a contingency plan regarding the show that was meant to have taken place tomorrow night here at the O2?
We knew that there was, I think when it first hits, you don't quite believe it. We obviously heard news, and obviously it wasn't announced till I think about 6 p.m. So first of all, your thoughts are with everything that's going on, and then you realise, you know, we've got an iconic, historic show coming up, and you start to think, how are people going to react? There was preparations for 12 months, 18 months. I know sports broadcasters and rights holders have been talking about what would happen and things like that, but nothing prepares you for that. We had an unbelievable press conference, and then you sort of waiting for instruction, whether from the board, whether from the broadcasters, whether from the government. We were waiting on meetings with the government and DCMS, and there was one last night, and then they postponed it to this morning. And so we can only do what we can do, and so it was difficult. I think when we started to realise it was serious was when entertainers could have said that they couldn't come. There was a lot planned for that night. BBC were saying, you know, we can't broadcast that live anymore, so it will be it'll be delayed, and certain things were just happening. People pulling out, and you started to realise this. You know, well, you knew this was a serious thing, and boxing is a massive sport in this country, but football is the biggest. And I think we were contacting the board last night. They were waiting for instruction. I think when we saw the Premier League go at 11 o'clock this morning, we knew we would be in trouble. But at the same time, there are more important things, and we always knew at that point that and so did the fighters, that things could go either way. And obviously the board made the decision. We did everything that we could to keep it on. We would change the weigh-in yesterday. It was meant to be on the Tower Bridge, and it was incredible, fireworks, everything. But we did it we were going to do it behind closed doors, no media, nothing. So we did everything we could, and then obviously the board came and had to make the decision. And I have to respect it, I have to agree with it. This was a celebration. This was an iconic event. It wasn't a sport, a normal boxing event. This was going to be a spectacle. It's a celebration, and it just didn't feel that right. And so when the board communicated their decision, I understood it. I think they felt they were in a bit of a corner once football made their decision, and they felt like it was right. And at that point, you're left to do what you can, but it's devastating. It is devastating.
It seems like over the last 24 hours it's been a bit of a grey area in terms of sporting events. We know there's certain sporting events that will take place this weekend, but it does seem like, even from the outside, we would expect the ball to follow suit of the Premier League. There were situations in COVID where similar activities regarding that were followed from the Premier League. So when they announced today that they would suspend the games for this weekend, first of all, then was it a case of still a decision to make from the board, or was the decision already made when the Premier League decided that they weren't going to go ahead?
First of all, honestly, because I don't want it to look as though I'm devastated for myself. I was devastated for the fighters. No one has. We've lost a serious amount, as you know. You've been at the fight week, but I'm not bothered about that. I knew what the fighters were going through all week: the making weight, the press conferences, the waiting around, everything. And so, but when the Premier League was cancelled, my heart dropped at 11 o'clock because I just knew there was no way that the board were going to allow us. I didn't think to go on because the spotlight was on them then. And as I say, boxing's a brutal sport. Boxing's an entertaining sport. Boxing's got everything. Imagine if something had happened on Saturday night, something in the ring. We were going to be criticised either way, but ultimately, the board were, and ultimately they had to make a very brave call. All the fighters have been very respectful of it. One thing I am thinking about is the fans and the tickets and the hotels and the flights. People were coming all around the world for this event. It was huge, and that's why again we've had 2 hours, 3 hours scrambling, making sure that we had a date to put out as well. So we've done what we can. The fighters have done what they can, but yeah, we knew that the writing was on the wall at 11 o'clock, and we were hoping maybe the board would find a way around it, but ultimately they are responsible for the sport in this country, and we have to respect that, and I do respect that. It's a difficult moment for everyone, unprecedented, and hard for them as well.
I know, obviously, it affects everyone on the card. Every fighter that was on the card it have an effect on. But I mean, if we talk about kind of Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, Alicia, Michaela, these were huge opportunity fights for them on a huge card here, a historic card, as you said. So the fact that you have actually worked very quickly to bring a provisional date for October 15th, were they kind of on board with that? I'm assuming they were, because that's 5 weeks away.
Spoke to most of them. It's 5 weeks away, as you said. It is the biggest fights of all of their lives. It's a massive occasion. Alicia and Michaela, I think it's the first time. It's Michaela's first time boxing in the UK, but Alicia on a card of this side, they couldn't believe it, and they know it's a special time, special moment for the event, and it actually wouldn't have done them justice fighting in this environment. You know, it was going to be a somber event. Everything was going to be scaled back. The media weren't interested by the time that this happened, which is good and fair enough. And it wouldn't have been right on them. And I think everyone knew, and they've been so understanding, as American women as well, so understanding of the situation. And they want to get back, and they can't wait for it. But it's difficult for them, the making of weight, the travelling, the this, the that. But yeah, the provisional date is there. It gives everyone confidence. It gives everyone something to aim for. Keeps everyone happy, and got a few things to work through, but all of the key fighters and the key fights should remain the same.
Just finally, your date you've again provisionally announced for October the 15th. Now, we know at least of one, possibly two shows happening on the same night. So this weekend you were at an advantage as well. It was great to kind of just have this fight week where there wasn't kind of cross promotions from different broadcasters and etc. But you will be in a position now where there could be one, maybe two other live fight nights on October the 15th. Is that of any concern to you?
I think you saw from this week the scale of this event. I think it will only be bigger next time. People have seen that press conference that I was in, and you were there. That was the busiest press conference I've ever seen. Like, for me, obviously you've been to a lot, but it was ridiculous. The interest in this fight is off the scale, and we saw that this week. And I think it will be a massive event whenever it is. To be honest, it's not in my mind right now. It's a difficult time. I feel sorry for the fighters. I feel sorry for the fans. I feel sorry for the travel. All the tickets will be moved over to the new date immediately. With the fighters, we're going to be working with them closely to do what they can to make sure everyone is in a good spot and not left out of pocket and all these kind of things. So we're doing everything we can. It was a difficult position to be put in. We respect the board's decision, and the sport and business will move on. But I think right now, next 7 to 10 days, no one's thinking about that. And yeah, I'm just glad we've got that date. I'm glad that the fighters have been taking it so well, and hopefully we can help the fans and everyone to move on and look forward to October the 15th.
Okay, Ben, like I said, it's not. It's been kind of a very difficult situation for you, but like I said, there's bigger things just in life in general, but what's happened over the last 24 hours, and it is far bigger than anything that we're talking about now. So yeah, appreciate the time, and I'm sure, like I said, when that's kind of nearer the time or etc., when it will be bigger. I think you're right. I think the anticipation around this now kind of that adds to it. So hopefully there'll be the same card, all the same exact card.
All the promoters as well. Yeah, I expect it will be.
Okay. Well, yeah, appreciate your time. Appreciate you talking to us about this, and yeah, we'll catch up with you again soon. And just as we repeated at the start of this interview, like our deepest sympathies and condolences go out to the royal family for the passing of Queen Elizabeth II.
100%. That's where our minds are. And to be honest, anyone criticising things that have happened in results of that are really so short-sighted and so short-sighted on the event and what this event meant to the sport and the celebration that was due to take place on Saturday night. And if they can't understand the board's decision and why that wasn't the right time to do it, I don't know what else they can do, to be honest.
Ben, thank you very much for talking to us, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more
There's
times.
5 blokes outside my front door. You coming out?
One hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.